If your sibling committed a crime, would you take the fall for them? My twin and I were born 3 minutes apart. But we always said we'd leave the world at the same time, too. We shared everything growing up. Names and each other's passwords. Matching tattoos, blehh. Life for each other. So when she called me one night, shaking, crying, whispering, I hit someone. I didn't stop. I didn't hesitate. I drove over. Cleaned her bumper. Wiped down the seats. Burned her clothes. And when the police came knocking the next morning, I told them it was me. They arrested me. I sat in holding, waiting. Hoping she'd visit. She didn't. At the trial, I said nothing. She sat at the back, head down. I thought she'd save me or not. I was ready to take the fall. I was also prepared for betrayal. But then, she walked in. Eyes red. Voice shaking. Your Honor, she said. And what followed later changed everything. My twin and I have never fought. We were born holding hands, literally. There's a photo. Shared a room till 18. Shared our college dorm. Shared a bank account. Our names are Layla and Samira. We always joked, one soul, two bodies. We had matching tattoos. blehh. Latin for, life for each other. It wasn't just a phrase. We meant it. One night, Samira called me sobbing. I was asleep. She never called after midnight. Her voice shook. She was shaking so hard I could hear her teeth clacking through the phone. Between gasps, she said. He came out of nowhere. I didn't even see him until the last second. I slammed the brakes, but it was too late. Layla. I hit someone. I didn't stop. I freaked out and drove home. Her words dissolved into sobs. I told her to stay inside. I was already pulling on shoes. The roads were mostly empty that night, a Thursday, just after 1 a.m. The city felt quieter than usual, as if it knew what was happening and was holding its breath. I reached her apartment in 13 minutes. She didn't buzz me in, just opened the door and collapsed into my arms. Her hands were ice. Her hair smelled like smoke, she'd been stress smoking again. Show me, I said. She didn't speak. Just led me down to the garage. Her car sat crookedly in its space. The hood had a dent the size of a soccer ball. There was a long scratch where metal had curled inward, and there it was. A smear. Not bright red like in movies, darker, muddier, already drying. I felt sick. A piece of shattered phone screen lay near the tire. Glass embedded in the grill. A single shoelace, God, hung from the bumper. Did you look for him? I asked, carefully. She shook her head, trembling. I drove straight home. I couldn't. I didn't know if he was alive. I didn't even look back. We stood in silence for a moment. Okay, I finally said. Let's fix this. I pulled my hoodie tight, grabbed gloves from my trunk, and started working. I scrubbed the bumper with bleach wipes. Picked glass out with tweezers. Collected the shoelace with shaking hands and threw it in a bag. Samira couldn't stop pacing. Every few minutes she'd whisper. I killed him. I killed him. You don't know that, I kept saying. Let's focus. We burned her hoodie and jeans in a metal trash can behind the building. She cried the entire time, face buried in her hands. I gave her mine to hold, even when they reeked of chemicals. Later, I made her shower while I cleaned the seats. Her steering wheel had fingerprint smears. One tiny blood dot on the airbag, just one. I noticed her front plate was hanging crooked. I tightened it. Scrubbed the screws. I remembered a crime show once said the license plate was how they caught the guy. When I was done, I turned to her. If they come asking, I said, I'll say I borrowed your car last night. I'll say I went for a drive. I'll say I panicked and came home. She didn't argue. But she didn't thank me either. That night, I took her hoodie. Scratched my own face. The officers came just after sunrise. I heard the knock first, calm, measured. Like they already knew what they'd find. I opened the door. Hands already out in front of me. We're here about a hit and run involving a silver Corolla. License plate ending in 83K. Someone had reported the license plate. I nodded slowly. I was driving last night. That's my sister's car. They cuffed me. Read my rights. I kept repeating, calmly, is he alive? The man who was hit, is he okay? One officer paused. The younger one. He looked me over, like I wasn't what he expected. He said. He's in the hospital. Critical leg trauma. Might lose it. But yes, he's alive. That was the first moment I almost cried. Not because I was being arrested, but because he wasn't dead. I whispered, thank God. And then I stopped talking. I was booked. Charged. Held overnight. They said the man survived, but might lose his leg. My stomach sank. But I didn't change my story. Lawyers offered a plea deal. 18 months. Suspended sentence. Probation. My record would be marked forever. While I sat in holding, the investigation began. Detectives visited Samira's building. They pulled CCTV from the nearby gas station. At 1:12 a.m., a silver Corolla sped past, front dented, sparks flying. They canvassed the block. Found a witness, a cab driver on his break, parked near a closed corner store. He said he heard the impact and saw taillights swerving off fast. Couldn't give a plate, but said the driver seemed frantic. They traced the license plate from a broken camera further down the road. It was blurry but enough for a partial match. The final digits matched Samira's car. The police requested access to our phone records. Mine showed late-night movement. My signal pinged near the scene at 1:13 a.m. Samira's showed she never left home. That helped my story, but I knew why. I had taken her phone with me. To make it seem like she was home the whole time. When they asked about clothes, I gave them mine, bloodless, freshly laundered. Too clean. That raised suspicions. They found bleach traces on the car's interior. Tiny fibers in the air vents. They sent everything to the lab, my gloves, the hoodie, the wipes. It would take weeks for results. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. At arraignment, the prosecutor laid out their theory, that I had panicked. That I fled the scene of a serious accident. That the victim's life would never be the same. They presented photos of the car damage. Expert testimony from an accident analyst. Even a reconstruction video. And I sat there. Heart racing. Hands folded. They introduced the shoelace, the one I found. It matched the victim's missing sneaker. The prosecution said I went to great lengths to conceal evidence. I wanted to scream. I didn't do it. But I didn't. Because I had promised I would take the fall. My lawyer was frustrated. He said my story had gaps. Asked why I had taken the car so late. Why no one could corroborate my drive. I had no answers that didn't sound rehearsed. He urged me to reconsider. Said the plea deal was generous. 18 months suspended. Probation. A record, yes, but no prison. I nearly signed. But then he said something that stopped me. She hasn't come to see you. That tells me something. It told me something too. Still. I waited. One more day. One more hearing. I thought Samira would visit. She didn't. Not once. On the day of sentencing, Samira finally came. Sat in the back. Wouldn't meet my eyes. The judge asked if I had final words. I shook my head. Then Samira stood up. Voice trembling. Your Honor, she didn't do it. I did. I panicked. She covered for me. Gasps. Courtroom silence. The judge paused. Called a recess. Suddenly, my lawyer had fire in his eyes. Said, we need to talk to the DA. Now. Turns out, Samira was offered a deal. But not for confessing. For blaming me. She came to court to seal it. But something, maybe seeing me in cuffs, changed her. They reevaluated everything. Charges against me dropped. Investigation into her reopened. Turns out the man Samira hit had been a teacher. Out late walking home from a bar after grading papers. His name was Michael Ortega. 42. Single dad. His leg couldn't be saved. But he lived. The DA pushed for 2 years, but Samira's lawyer negotiated. First-time offender. Full confession. Victim survived. Samira was sentenced. 12 months. Minimum security. Early release possible. Before she was taken in, we were alone in a hallway. She sobbed. I'm sorry. I tried to be strong. I'm not you. I hugged her. But the truth is, part of me hated her. Not because she made a mistake, we all do. But because she waited. Because I sat in a cell wondering where she was. Because she watched me prepare for sentencing, and still said nothing. That hesitation, it broke something I thought was unbreakable. People ask why I didn't hate her. And the truth is, I did. For a while. But if I could go back, I'd still clean the car. Still take the blame. Because when you share one soul, sometimes you carry the heavier half.